Father, we say yes to you, Lord God. Yes. God, we say yes to your will, yes to your way. Yes. God, we say yes. God, as I attempt to preach your word, hide me behind the cross and let the people see Jesus on. God, make us ready, receptive, and responsive to your word, oh God. Forgive me for my many sins today. Thank you, oh God. God, we love you, we praise you, and we appreciate you. And it is in the name that is above all names, Christ Jesus' name, we praise you, and we all say, Amen. If you have your Bible, turn with me to Daniel chapter 4. Daniel chapter 4. And we're going to look at verse 24. It says, Therefore, O king, may my counsel be acceptable to you. Renounce your sins through righteousness and your iniquities by showing mercy to the poor. Perhaps your prosperity will be prolonged. Perhaps your prosperity will be prolonged. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. God is messing with my head right now. I'm doing some different stuff and taking me a different way. So you gotta give me a second because this is different. We still dealing with value, but he's changed how I'm about to deal with value. That last song wasn't playing, it just kind of happened, but it said some stuff. So we're gonna deal with the value of a yes. That's the way he took the value of it, yes. Keep your Bibles open, keep your Bibles open. We're going to do a little bit of jumping around now because he didn't mess with me. If you look at Daniel chapter 4 and verse 2, King Nebuchadnezzar says, I had a dream that frightened me. While on my bed, the images and visions in my mind terrified me. Okay, God, here we go. I just want to thought that it's all on him. This ain't on me, it's all on him. So, this is what we do. Don't count any action a person does that they only have to do one time. Don't count any action that a person does that they only have to do one time. So, what we do a lot is we say something like right here, he claims that he's scared and he's terrified and his dream has freaked me out. But if you read the text later, if he was so freaked out when Daniel spoke to him, if I'm so scared of what happened in the dream, I'm going to do whatever it takes not to go through what happened in the dream. So what we have a tendency of doing is we take actions and take steps that only make us take that action one time. So what do you mean? Spouse gets on your nerves about going to the doctor. What we do is we schedule the doctor's appointment where we don't actually go. Action only takes one time. So I make this action. And so when they come to you and say, did you schedule the appointment? You say, yeah, I scheduled the appointment. Or you say, okay, I need to lose weight. And in that moment you go and you join the gym, but then you never go to the gym. The action only took one time. Nebuchadnezzar is freaked out by this dream, but it's momentary. And if we're going to be truthful, a lot of our reactions and actions are based on momentary stuff. In the moment, this might be how I feel. In the moment, And let's be real, you've heard some people say they can't stand their baby mother or their baby daddy. They can't stand this person. They hate this person. This person gets on that nerve, only to see them the next weekend and they're together. Because in the moment, it might have felt true and it was emotional. But we say some stuff out our mouth and it's momentary. So watch this. That song is great and that song is wonderful. And in praise and worship, we say yes to the Lord. And then right after praise and worship, God tells you to preach something different. And you're like, but God already got notes on this other stuff. And so then you're fighting with God, who you just said, I'm going to say yes to. In a very practical way, we say some stuff and then don't live it later. Because see, saying yes only takes that moment. And in worship is high. But when it's time to say yes for real, and when that yes means something, the value of your yes. Let's be real. When we tell somebody we're going to do something, they put weight on what we said. Right. So, you know, your kids look at you and say, but you said. Your spouse looked at you and said, you said you would do this by this time. Your job looks at you and said, I gave you something to do. You said you can handle it. You can do it by this time. Your yes has value. And that value is in your ability to do whatever it is you said you were going to do. And the problem in Christianity is that our yes has little value. There's a meme that I saw last night when I was on Instagram, and the meme said the problem with atheism is that most atheists are atheists based on seeing the life of a Christian. They don't believe the God we say we serve because we don't serve God the way we supposed to. So if your God was as real as your yes says it is, how come your life looks the way that it looks?
Come on now.
So when you say, yes, I'm a Christian, it has no value to them because your life looks worse than mine. You struggle more than I do. But you serve this all-powerful, all-knowing God. The value of your yes. We start off with great intentions. If you read 1 Samuel chapter 3, we start off like Samuel. Here am I. Lord, here's your servant. Here am I. And then, you know, it's here am I until you hear what he says. It's here am I, Lord. Use me as you want to, Lord, until you hear how he wants to use you. I promise you, this is not the way I was going this morning. If God has changed past this sermon, and God is yelling at Pastor in his head right now, then what that means is we done said some artificial yeses. From the pulpit to the door, we done said some artificial yeses. We done promised God we was going to do some stuff that we ain't followed through on. And then the text that he gave me, he done showed us the consequences of it. And we like, oh, that scares me, but we ain't doing nothing different. In our text, he says, I'm scared. He says, I don't want this to happen. So he calls all his so-called wise men. And this is what gets me, and this is us, and this is what sticks out from this text. In this text, by the time this happened, Nebuchadnezzar knows Daniel. Daniel's already interpreted one dream. God already showed him how that works. Nebuchadnezzar has already built a statue to himself. Nebuchadnezzar threw 3 Hebrew boys in the fire already. He turned the fire up. His people died. 3 Hebrew boys still was dead. Then Nebuchadnezzar goes down there and physically sees Jesus. I see a man who looks like the Son of God. He didn't experience all of that. And then when Daniel comes to him and tells him the dream, it's like, so. And see, we have this mindset that if I saw God, well, God cracked open the sky and spoke to me audibly, it would change how I act. No. Pastor, how can you say that? Because my text tells me that the Israelites heard God audibly, freaked them out. They didn't want to hear God no more. My text tells me that God opened up the sea and they walked on dry land and they still didn't want to listen. My text tells me that they saw God do some things that would freak us out, but it didn't change their behavior. It's funny how your life comes together and God shows you stuff. So in my class right now, new class, we're dealing with intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. Basically, internal motivation versus outside motivation. And what we use in education a lot is outside motivation because a lot of kids are not motivated internally. So you be like, if you're going to do this work, I'm going to call your mama. And they think about their mama coming up to the school with their handbells in front of the class, so they get motivated to do some work. The problem with extrinsic motivation is it changes you temporarily. So when God comes, and we got texts to back this up, and when God throws you in slavery for 60 years, when you get out of slavery, it's, oh God, you're the greatest of all time. And then 10 years removed from that, you're doing the same thing that got you in slavery in the first place. When you use extrinsic motivation, it happens that for a short period of time, behavior changes. And what we often have to do is you have to keep escalating the motivation to keep the same behavior. So it started off that I give you a sticker on your paper, and now at the end of the school year, I'm giving you a $5 gift card to Starbucks in order to keep you motivated. And our problem is that's what we expect from God. God, if you want me to do what you want me to do, then what you gonna give me right now? What you gave me last time was great, but I'm looking for more on this go round. Oh, y'all, we done got quiet now because we know we go to God, I'll do it if. Start bothering God. You want me to do that, you're going to do this for me. If you want me to go there, you're going to open this door for me. If you want me to do that, and God said, I can show you better than I can tell you. Truth of the matter is Nebuchadnezzar was extrinsically motivated. He wanted some signs. He wanted some stuff. So where on the surface, oh, I'm scared. If he was as scared as he said he was, when Daniel told you how to get out of it, you would have did what Daniel said. But he was ego tripping. And it's crazy. He's king, so I kind of understand how you have an ego. But some of us ain't got nothing, but still got the ego inside. Amen. Like, ego is this big. God ain't called me to do that. God ain't moved me to do that. And it's funny how our mindset changes when we get humbled. When God cuts you off at the knees, all of a sudden there's some stuff you willing to do when you're down there that you wouldn't do when you were up here. And the kicker is you could have stayed up there if you was going to do. If you look at our text, his dream is that I'm going to take your kingdom from you. And that is, as is I'm finding God's custom in the Old Testament, he says, and you will know that I am. True Life Version says that heaven is sovereign. Heaven being God himself. King James Version says that you will know that the Lord of heaven rules all, sovereign. And while we understand that allegedly, academically, we don't live like God is sovereign. Because if God was sovereign, our yes wouldn't be based on extrinsic motive. If I knew who God was for real and the value of being in his will, my yes would be all the time and the motivation would be internal. As a kid, extrinsic motivation didn't really work for me. I told y'all that. You could beat me till Jesus comes. If I felt the beating was worth what I was doing, I'd take the beating. I'd take a beating over punishment because beating is quicker, but if you're going to punish me, I'm going to find a way to be happy in the punishment. That's just who I am. What changed me as a child, and my mother figured it out eventually to my detriment, is these words: you've disappointed me. I could deal with you taking the Super and the Sega and the PlayStation. I could deal with being in my room not watching TV, just looking at the walls. I could deal with the wisdom, that go somewhere else mentally. But you disappointed me, did something to me. She made me cry quicker that way than hitting me. How come God comes to us and says, you disappointed me, and it don't faze us? We done fell short of the glory of God. They don't motivate us to change. What's the point of the yes to God if you don't love him the way you say you do? So Nebuchadnezzar doesn't listen. He never deals. Daniel tells him if you give to the poor, you be nice, you'll get out of this. He doesn't do that. But what gets him in trouble is he looks around. This is all me. I did this. I did that. I did this. Look at me. And all of a sudden, he wasn't king no more. And God took his mind from him, and he became animal-like for 7 years. This is what gets me. He had to go through a 7-year trial just to get back where he was. Because you didn't understand who put you there. Can I be real with you? Pastor done went through them same 7, 8 year trials to get back where I was because I didn't understand who my source was. So I'm trying to do it to be like other people, not putting him first, not giving him nothing. Okay, it look nice right now, but you ain't staying there.
Come on now.
And it took 7, 8 years to get back to where I was originally. And you have to ask yourself, where would I be if I had just humbled myself the first time? Yes, it's cute. Yes, it's the popular statement. See, it's easy to make it when somebody else beside you is saying yes. See, that's why churches, that's why corporate worship is fun. It's easy to go in when the whole room is going in. It's easy to focus on God when the whole room got their mindset focused on God. One accord is a powerful thing. But watch this. When you by yourself, only can depend on him and what you going to do. The easiest thing to do is to try to do the easier thing. To see what we feel like is in the moment, what God is asking me to do is harder than what I think I should do. And so I'm always going to try to take the easy route, even if the long term is bad for me. I'll give you an example. Y'all know Pastor loves sports. In sports right now, the game of football has been completely changed because the NFL has admitted something they've known for 30 years. That concussions lead to CTE, CTE leads to Alzheimer's early, and you get dementia. So you're 45 years old and can't find your way home, literally. But that's a long-term situation. So an NFL player says, I'd rather you hit me in my head, knowing what's going to happen long-term, than blow my knee out. Because see, the knee is immediate. You hit me in my knee, my season's over. You hit me in my knee, I might not ever be the same right now. Now, eventually, I'll walk again, and I'll live out, but I might lose money right now. So I'd rather make the money right now and go crazy later and know that's the fact. But that's what I'd rather do. And that's our decision-making process. We know long-term stuff's not good for us. We know long-term what the effects are. But all we look at is right now. So God, I don't want to go through what it takes to deal with it right now. I don't want to change anything right now. And so we make these arbitrary fake dates. All right, I'll do it then. God, I'll get to it here. I'll do that when I get here. And here never comes. I said this before and I'll say it again. One of the hardest things my wife has ever said to me, said it a long, long time ago, praise God, I've changed, was that your word don't mean what it should mean. Because you say you're going to do a lot of stuff and then it don't get done. Hit a brother in the chest like a knife. Okay, I have to change some things. Our word with God, if God looked at you and said, your word don't mean much to me, you done told me you going to do a lot of stuff. You done told me you was going to make some changes. You done told me you was going to be more consistent in your walk. You done told me you was going to pray more. You done told me you was going to listen to my voice more. And it's inconsistent and you ain't done nothing. And that don't faze us. Our yes has to carry weight because it's backed by him. So everything I'm saying yes to is his will. Everything I'm saying yes to is something he done told me. Everything I'm saying yes to is perfect because he sent it to. And when I get that, my yes carries more weight. So watch this. Yes will make you uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Yes will put you in a place you don't like being. Yes may put you all by yourself. Because see, sometimes your yes is just for you and everybody can't go with you. And see, a lot of our problem is we don't mind doing stuff if I can take the crew with me. But what if the crew ain't called to what you called to?
Right. Come on.
So we got this I can't stand alone complex. Not understanding you're never by yourself anyway. But if you're physically alone, he's still with you. What is our yes really mean? Watch this. When we go to God this week, everybody like, yeah, he almost done. I might be Baptist, you don't know it. When we go to God this week, it's time to write down, what have I lied to God? See, that quiet, everybody's like, amen. But when we done told some bald-faced lies. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to be better at this. And ain't none of it came to fruition. So first thing, admit the lies and then apologize. Repent. God, I'm sorry. Because see, it's easy to say. I'm going to do this, God. God, if you get me the next year, God, I'll make that change. And next year, then 5 years coming. So our first thing is admitting the lies and then repenting. And then asking God what he wants you to do. Don't come up with your stuff on your own. I think that's half our problem. Is that we come up with stuff that we think is cute. We come up with what we think is right. And no, God, where you lead me, I'll follow, ought to be our motto. I'm learning that sometimes you want to do some stuff, and you want to intervene in some stuff, and God will say no. We have some good intentions, but it ain't necessarily the intention for God, for us to do it. Or it might not be time to do it. The Nebuchadnezzar text speaks to another issue too. Thank you, Jesus. We have people in our circle that we consider to be wise counsel. We consider to hear the voice of the Lord. We consider to know the Lord. And then we ask them what our issue is. And then when they tell us, we don't want to hear it. We got to stop wanting stuff to be sugarcoated.
Amen.
I was watching a stupid movie yesterday. It's called The Ugly Truth. I watched it for like 5 minutes. And one of the things he says in the movie, my wife loves the movie, that's before. But one of the things he says in the movie is the truth is uncomfortable. If you're not ready to deal with the truth. So how many times have we lashed out at somebody for telling us the truth? We know it's the truth, but we don't want to hear it in that moment. So we flip out. Cuss them out real good. You ain't going to talk to me like that. You don't know who I am. Only to go home knowing they told you the 100 absolute truth. When it's truth, especially truth you done sought out, say yes. That's me. Yes, that's my issue. Part of our problem is we run from our issues rather than try to rearrange our issues. Meaning that I'm working on that one at a time. All right, this is number one on the list. This is number two. And watch this, as long as you hear, you got something, because you're human. I find it funny that the people who always say, I'm too grown for that, is the ones who's doing exactly what they claim they're too grown for. Y'all know I deal with parents all the time. And the number one issue I have with parents is, again, they don't like admitting difficult truths. Little Junior got a little problem, and you're going to need to put Little Junior in a different type of class. And well, Little Junior's not like that at home. Bald-faced lie. But they can't accept, because your child has an issue, it makes you feel like you're deficient. And so you put their deficiency on yourself. And watch this. Their deficiency can be overcome if you give them the proper help. But two, it does not necessarily mean a reflection on. Come on. Your issue, whatever it is, can be changed. And it's only a reflection on you if you stay there. That's what you mean. We all had an issue before we came to Jesus. All had an issue before we came to Jesus. And the Bible says, when you come to Christ, all things become new. If you let that crap go, our problem is we stay in the same place, doing the same stuff, but then don't want to be called what we still doing. I'm going to make this PC. Because in my head, it's not PC. But there's a person on TV that is famous. And she got her little TV show on VH1. And she's doing her thing. Now, she's still living in promiscuity. But don't want to be called out for it. So there's an S word that we use when a person, especially a female, is promiscuous. And so she calls it that word shame. So she's saying you're shaming her, but she don't want to change nothing about the lifestyle. And that's what we do now. We done got real PC. And so if you call me out on what I am, even though it's negative, you're shaming. So you're shaming me that I got 9 kids and 9 baby daddies. You know, there's a football player that has 11 kids by like 8 women. So when the media brings it up, he walks out on the interviews because, well, you're disrespecting me. You got 11 kids by 8 women. You disrespecting your own self. Can I go all the way? We do stuff, don't want the reputation from the stuff we do, but then continue doing stuff. There's no way you can have 11 kids by 8 women and be a father to all 8 of them. You can't be in that many places at one time. But then we don't want what comes with it. So, you know, if you a liar, you don't want nobody to call you a liar. If stuff come up missing every time you come to my house, you a thief. See, I'm old school. If you steal, you lie. If you lie, you steal. That's how it works. So then you're untrustworthy and you don't like that you can't be trusted, but you haven't done anything worth being trusted.
Come on now.
But then I'm shaming.
Come on.
We gotta stop running from being accountable. That's the word we don't like. Your yes means I'm accountable to you, God. Your yes means you can call me on the carpet about my shortcomings. Value. So last week we discussed the value of the Holy Spirit and the Holy Spirit residing inside of you and God's sovereignty. I think our yes would be easier if we understood our value to God. But see, all we hear is God is sovereign and God is this. And in your mind, if God's so great and I got free will, why do I have to conform to everything? That's because they taught you scripture. And be like, you know, he'll give you the desires of your heart. When we go back and we examine that, when you learn to love God the right way, the desires of your heart will become his desires for you. But don't nobody teach us that. And so you feel like, oh, that takes away my free will. Watch this. Me and anime are polar opposites. Taylor, by the way, I get to call it anime, you don't. So me and anime are polar opposites, right? We like different TV shows, we like different food. Our ideas of what's fun don't necessarily coincide all the time. But I've been with anime for a decade and a half now.
Praise God.
So there are some things that she liked that I think is goofy as all get out. But because I love my life, my desires become her desires. So I get excited for a show on the Food Network, not because it's what I naturally like, but I know she's going to like it and we get to kick together. Watch this. Her desires become my desires. Ooh, is football on? I'll cook some wings a week. She don't naturally like football, but her desires became my desires because we
Come
love
on,
each
come
other.
on,
When you love
come
God,
on. Come on now.
your desires will become his desires for you. And then when you understand on top of that, that his desires for you are for the best for you. So when you understand your value to him, his whole point with Nebuchadnezzar was not necessarily that I don't want you to be in the kingship. No. I chose you to do what you did. I picked you to go get my Israel because I needed you to teach them a lesson. Watch this. He has need of you. And all I'm trying to get you to do is acknowledge who put you in the position to be great.
Come on.
So for 7 years, he's out there eating grass, and all of a sudden, after 7 years, he comes to himself. And watch this, he don't just come to himself, but he's restored in his kingship. When we understand our value to God, then God can use you the way he wants to. The Bible says that when Nebuchadnezzar got put back in his kingship, he was greater than when he was in there the first time. Because now I'm humble. Now, God, I'm listening to you. Now I ain't got all these extras. God, whatever you say, I'm willing to do. When I understand my value to him. See, we look at everything so, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. Learn to love him differently. So when we say, I love you, Jesus, it's not just the emotional part. But God, I love the direction you're sending me. I love the way you're using me. God, I love how you're allowing me to help other people. I love all of that. And watch this. When he makes me uncomfortable, I still love you. When he's training me up for my next level, God, I still love you.
Amen.
When he's chastising me for something I did wrong, God, I still love you. And so my yes doesn't change based on circumstance. Me and my sister mess with each other. She always says she loves me more, which is a bald-faced lie. But anyway, she says that because we mess with each other and we Actkins, we have this one-up issue. So if you're going to do for me, I'm going to do for you. You know, so we did this thing one time where I lied and said I wasn't going to get her kids something for this holiday, and then all of a sudden I had something for all the kids. So then she was real mad, so then she had to go out and top. We had this topping spirit. One got to go over the other. But when we understand love, we ain't got to do all that. It ain't, oh my goodness. It's not in, did you do more? Did you care enough to try this?
Amen.
Amen.
And our issue that we love so God so little that we don't care enough to try. Let me make that. Okay. We all got significant others or kids or whatever, and the holiday roll around. Money ain't always the same. From year to year, things are different. So, you know, we all got some great years. You be like, ooh. I remember in '89 when I got a Nintendo, a guitar, an amp. I can tell you everything I got in '89. Woo, she outdid herself that year. But then '93 came, and I got this thing called the Super Nintendo. I about lost my natural mind outside of myself. But watch, I just throw that in there for free. She the reason we one up each other. But anyway. But anyway, every year can't be like that. Because the economy ain't always like that. My job and my circumstances are not always like, but watch this, that don't mean I don't try. So when the money is a little funny, you can't be so superficial with it if you got to be from the heart. All right, got to think a little bit harder. What's going to be more sentimental? Oh, see, I said think, people. Nah, just Pastor, just give me a gift card and I'll figure it out for myself. But there's no sentiment in that. Sometimes all God is looking for is for you to try. When the last time you been sentimental with God? Come on, right there. I'm gonna say this, then I'm gonna sit down. We gotta stop saying yes out of what's popular in the moment. So, y'all know, social media. Every time something happened to Haiti, Haiti becomes the #1 trending thing on there, and people want to give money, they want to do something. But let something happen in these United States. We just seen, since Kaepernick took a knee, at least 8 dudes have been shot down by cops unarmed. Them same people ain't giving money to them wives that's got to bury their husbands. But see, it didn't become popular. Lord knows, I'll tell you the truth. I don't know who I'm voting for, but Trump done disrespected Hispanics. He done disrespected African Americans. He done disrespected the LGBT community. But when he disrespected Caucasian women, all of a sudden, oh, now it's a problem. Because it's popular. And our problem is we only get on trains that's popular. So, you know, one of the ways the churches grow, it becomes the trend. And if you know, like I know, watch this, trends move. So I know people, I kid you not, they've been at the Dome Church over in East Mason. They've been at, what's the big church? Central Christian down there. They've been the First Institutional. They've been, because the trend moves. And when the trend moves, so do they. Ain't never stopped to ask God, God, where am I supposed to be so I can work? Where am I supposed to be so I can grow? Because we follow trends. And I tell you, trends only last for a season. And then when the season is up, you stuck, confused, and lost. The value of your yes. Our yes as believers has to mean that when we say yes, I'm going to do it. That's why Pastor always say, we'll see. The value of our yes has to mean that everything in my power, I'm going to do to make that happen. Especially when I'm talking to God. We got all, if you can use anything, Lord, use me. And then when you say, I want to use you, we flip out. God, oh, how we love you. We appreciate you, oh God. God, teach us to value your will for us, oh God. Teach us just to say yes and trust you. Forgive us for the many times we've told lies to you, God, that we were going to do something and we didn't. God, we repent right now. God, help us to understand our value to you. That you've called us for a reason. You've called us for purpose, oh God. And when we line our hearts up with you, oh God, we can be everything that you've called us to be. God, we appreciate you. We thank you. We love you for all that you do. We pray this prayer in the name that is above all names. In Christ Jesus' name we pray. We all say.